This question comes from Philippe, and he asks, do Charlie and you think that the euro currency has had a positive or negative effect overall on the Eurozone economy? And do you think it would be a good decision for France to quit the euro currency and go back to the franc?
Well, that's too easy for me to answer, so I'll give it to Charlie.
I haven't got the faintest idea. I think the euro had a noble motivation and had promise of doing a lot of good, and it undoubtedly has done a lot of good. But it's a flawed system in some ways to put countries that are so different together, and it's straining at the moment. The big strains aren't in France. The big strains are in, Greece and Portugal and so on. And I do think they created something that was probably unwise. They got countries in there that shouldn't have been there. You can't form a business partnership with your thriftless, drunken brother-in-law, You have to make your partnerships with somebody else. And I think they lowered their standards a little, and it's caused strains.
I think everything here is off the record, understand. I think it's a good idea that needs a lot of work still. And I think it has been a good thing net to this point, but it is flawed, and the flaws are appearing, but that doesn't mean it can't be corrected. I mean, we wrote a constitution in 1789 that still took a few amendments, and some of them didn't happen for a long time in respect to some very important factors. So I don't think that the fact that it wasn't perfectly designed initially should condemn it to being abandoned. But I think that if there are flaws, you have to face up to them. And I think that maybe the events that are happening currently will cause that. Presumably, we could have had a common currency with Canada and probably have made it work. I mean, if we decided
we could have made it work.
Yeah, we could have had a North American currency with Canada, and we'd have worked it out, and it might have even been useful. But we couldn't have had a hemisphere-wide currency with Venezuela in it or something.
With Argentina.
Yeah, and so he loves to name names. Praised by name, criticized by category. And I actually think it's probably desirable to have a euro currency properly designed and enforced, so that that the rules really apply. There were rules originally on the euro which got broken very early on by not the Greeks but by the Germans and the French, as I remember. So
the bankers let them they helped them prepare phony financial statements.
Yeah.
I mean, it was investment banker aided fraud.
Yeah.
Not exactly novel.
So returning to our main point, I think the euro can and probably should survive, and I think it's going to take some real changes and maybe some examples to enable it to do so. I hope it really, it's going to go in the direction of more cohesion or less, and very soon probably, and I think if it can figure out a way to do it with more cohesion, overall it will be a good thing for Europe. But it certainly, it is in its present form, it's not going to work. Charlie? I don't know why I'm giving you another shot, but
I think I've offended enough people.
Right. There's two or three in the balcony.